I'm Audrey, owner of Mary Poppins to Order Nanny Agency. I'm also the mama to 3 little girls. And today I am going to talk about this Momcozy sound machine slash time to wake program. I have been going through the terrible 2 stage with my youngest daughter. She's about to be 2 in about 2 more months. And we're sleep regressing. Yay, terrible 2 phase. Round 3. She's my youngest of 3 girls, and she started, her molar started growing in a couple of weeks ago, so it started throwing everything off. It started throwing off her sleep. She sleeps through the night just fine, but she started waking up really early in the morning. I mean like 5 a.m., 4:45, 5:15. Around there every morning for about 2 weeks, a week and a half maybe. And when she was about 7 months old, we did the Taking Care of Babies sleep training. So we have a really solid bedtime routine. She sleeps really good through the night, and to go through this sleep regression is so frustrating. And if I learned anything from my first 2 girls, it's that if you do one thing one time with your little one, they're going to expect it every time after that. So when she started waking up at 5 in the morning, I did not come in to get her out of her crib and bring her into my bed. I didn't want to dig myself into that hole, because then every day after that, that's what she's going to expect and get used to. So we kind of did sleep training again, or I tried to, but my stubborn little child did not want to go back to sleep. I think it was like a 5 to 6 days straight. She was waking up at like 5 in the morning, somewhere in that area, 5:15, and I would have her wait in her crib until at least 6 o'clock. That's the time I set in my head, where I was not going to get her out until at least 6 o'clock. I wanted to get her used to sleeping until 6, and then I told myself when we get to that point and she's used to it, then we'll stretch it to 6:30 and then back to 7, hopefully from there. But we never even got to 6. She would just be awake in her crib. Yes, crying. It was hard. It sucks to hear your baby cry. And now that she's almost 2, she's talking, so it's even harder now because she's calling mommy through the door, and it's so heartbreaking. So anybody that's going through that right now, I feel you. It is not easy on the heart. So we didn't want to, we being, my husband and I, we didn't want to take her out of the crib before 6, because we were trying to be consistent and get her back to sleeping till at least 7 o'clock on her own, in her own crib, in her room. So when she would wake up, we would have her wait in there until at least 6 o'clock. So she would cry, and then she would just kind of, be rolling around in her bed, and then it would go from crying to whining to crying. And so then after a few days of her still doing that and not getting the hint of, okay, they're not coming in to rescue me, they're not coming in to take me out, go back to sleep, which is what should happen. And my stubborn little baby was like, nope, I am not okay with this. I want to get out of my bed. So then I thought, okay, I remember back in my nanny days, I was nannying for this family, and they had something similar to this, but it was a different brand. It was the Hatch baby rest that they had, very similar, and it had the time to wake. So their kids were older, they were 4, so they used it as a time to wake option, because I have and they had blackout curtains, so it keeps the room completely dark so that they don't wake up early in the morning when the sun comes up. So that when my baby wakes up, she doesn't know if it's daytime, nighttime, because it's just dark in her room. So I thought of this and thought, okay, let me start getting her used to being able to tell when is it time to be asleep and when is it time to be awake. Time to wake, right? So I took to the internet, started reading, narrowed it down to 3 options that I read a bunch of reviews on. The 3 options that I was looking into was the Hatch Baby Rest 2nd generation, that's what it's called on Amazon. This Momcozy, also on Amazon. And the third option was called the Dream Egg on Amazon. Those are the top three that had the best reviews, and that also, you know, had the sound machine function and the time to wake program option. Um, just for reference, the price points on those three, the Hatch Baby Rest is on Amazon for $59.99. The Dream Egg was $54.99, and this Momcozy was on Amazon for $39.99. All of them have 4.3 stars and up, so all of them have really good reviews. They've got pros and cons. I went through all of them, and the Momcozy stuck out the most to me because Momcozy is just a tried and true loved brand. I've used a lot of their other stuff from pregnancy through infant stage and on. So automatically Momcozy stood out to me. And then also I'm bougie on a budget, so I just was also looking at the price point. Can it do what I need it to do and not break the bank, right? So this was the cheaper of the three, although I will say the Dream Egg and the Momcozy were both on sale on Amazon, but Momcozy was still a little bit cheaper. I think I got it for like 32 bucks. So another major thing that set this one apart from the Hatch was that it has the manual buttons here. So these devices work on the app. So you have to have Wi-Fi, of course, for you to be able to have access to the app, for it to be able to program the time to wake option. So it has the manual buttons here so that you can turn it on, turn the light on there manually, and you can turn the sound on manually. You can change the sounds manually here, and you can change the different colors on it. You can change the volume. So I really liked the Momcozy more than the Hatch because the Hatch doesn't have these manual buttons in case internet goes down. And I remember about a month ago, it was really, really windy here at our house, and our power was out for like a whole day almost. And if that had happened at night while this bad boy was in my daughter's room and it turned off because no Wi-Fi, I would have been so upset because my daughter would wake up instantly the second the sound changed from you know, her white noise or her pink noise to it just being completely quiet. She would wake up instantly. So that's the main reason why I went with the Momcozy. The Dream Egg also has some manual key options. So if you want to look into those other options, but that's why I went with something that has the manual option and not just powered off of Wi-Fi. Let's see. So another thing that one of the cons that I will say to the Momcozy that what it doesn't have that the Hatch and the Dream the Momcozy does not have that the Hatch and the Dream Egg do have is on the Hatch and the Dream Egg on the face it has the time displayed. So I do kind of like that. My daughter is only going on 2, so she doesn't tell time yet, but if you are getting this for maybe an older toddler and you're teaching them how to look at the time, then that might be helpful to have that. The Momcozy does not show the time. So anyways, those are just the main things that I remembered thinking about and reading about when I was reviewing the 3 options. So anyways, I want to talk to you and show you how I set my programs, how I'm using this for my daughter and how it worked, because let me tell you guys, this was my last resort, and it worked within 3 days for my daughter. She is sleeping at she's sleeping until 6 o'clock. We're actually a little bit past 6 o'clock. We're now working on getting to the 6:30. She's waking up at about 6:15 on her own right now. So we're getting there slowly but surely. But for the first 3 days, it took her to start really knowing what the programs meant that I sent. And it amazes me. But she's not even 2 yet, and she's so smart. I mean, babies are like sponges. They pick up on things so fast, and it amazed me how quickly she picked up on the programs and the light function and the sound. So I'm going to show you what I did, how I set this up. This is what the app looks like on your phone. On the top, you can push play, or you can change the sound settings. You can change the volume settings. You can set your favorites, so it's a quick and easy click of a button to your favorite settings. The lighting gives you different option to have no light at all, or you can have it on white or a specific color or rainbow. It also allows you to adjust the brightness of the light that you have chosen, so that when it's time to wake, you can have it brighter. When it's time to sleep, you can have it more dim. These are the different sound options available in the app. There's also a child lock feature, so that if your little one is able to get out of bed, if they're in a toddler bed now, and you don't want them to be able to get up and go, mess with the buttons on the actual device, you can put a child lock there. And then there's the programs. This is where you can set the schedules that you want for your little one. The first one that I did was the time for bed. So this I have set to the color pink. And I have this scheduled to start at 8 o'clock p.m. every single day. And the sound that I have set for this one is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So it's just a relaxing sound to signal to my daughter that it's time to start getting ready for bed. Then I have it switch at 8:30. It will automatically switch to time to go to sleep. And that one I have it switched to the color red. It's all the way dim. And the sound that I have playing for time to sleep is pink noise. This will be the setting from 8:30 p.m. until 6 a.m. Then at 6 a.m. is the program time to wake. I actually just recently changed it to 6:30 because now she is sleeping a little bit past 6 o'clock and I don't want to wake her up before she's ready to wake up. So at first, when you're doing this, you might have to monitor that very closely and adjust the times. So I have it 6:30 a.m. It'll switch to the color green, and the sound that I have chosen is called Good Morning, and that's the very light and relaxing melody that has birds chirping like a Disney princess waking up with birds outside the window. So that signals to my daughter that it's time, that it's okay to wake up. And after that switches is when I will walk into her room and get her out of her crib. Okay, so this is the program that I have set for my daughter to signal that it's time to start getting ready for bed. This is set for 8 p.m. It is the color pink, and the sound is just the Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star lullaby. This signals time to start getting ready for bed. We'll do our bedtime routine, take a bath, get into our pajamas, start reading a book here at her chair, and then at 8:30, it's automatically going to switch from this to her time for bed. So this is her time for bed. It's very dim, red. It doesn't flicker in the video. It looks like it's flickering, but it in real life is not flickering. It's just a solid, dim red light, and the sound is pink noise. This will play automatically at 8:30 p.m. scheduled to do that every single day, and it tells her that it's time to go to sleep. So we'll get up from her chair. I'll turn, the lights off in her room. We'll do our little prayer, and I'll lay her down in her crib so that she can go to sleep from there on her own. Then at 6 a.m., I have it programmed to switch from her time to sleep to time to wake. This is green. Also in the video looks like it's flickering, but it is not. It's a solid green. And the sound that I have chosen for this is called Good Morning. And it just is a lovely, calm melody with birds chirping like Cinderella waking up in the morning with birds in her window, all refreshed and ready for her day. This automatically goes off, switches from her time to sleep. It switches to this automatically every morning at 6 a.m. I pushed it now to about 6:20 a.m. because she is starting to sleep past 6, and I don't want it to wake her up before she's ready to get up. So Once it switches to this, then I will walk into her room after, but not before. That way she knows if it's still red, that means mommy is not coming in to get me. When it turns green, that's when mommy comes in to get me. So there you have it, guys. I've shown you how I use the Momcozy for this time to wake option, how I use the sounds and the colors, and how I've taught my almost 2-year-old daughter the difference between when it's time to sleep, when it's time to wake up, when it's time to start getting ready for bed. If you guys have any other questions, or if there's anything else that I missed or didn't explain well enough, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me here on YouTube, or you can check out my Instagram or my Facebook. I also have those linked at the bottom here, so let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos as resources for my Mary Poppins families to be able to look at when it comes time to choose what products that you're going to want to use for your little ones. I've gone through quite a bit of different products with my 3 kids, so I thought I would give my insight to you, and hopefully it'll help when it comes time for you to choose what you're going to use for your little ones. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you guys again soon.